guys, welcome to today's Big Brother Canada updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is the weather. Oh my god, it was gorgeous out today. I just had to say that. But yeah, we don't have a house guest of the day today. So if you guys want to be that special, cool, amazing, awesome person, make sure you check out our Patreon link in the info box below. It's super easy and it's only $1 for a holla. Alright, so let's talk about what's going on in the house. So, we know that the brothers are the HOH this week. We know that the brothers are really indecisive and wishy-washy. So, yeah. Where we left off yesterday, the brothers had decided that they were going to put up Maddie and Ramsey. But there's still some time in between that decision and the actual nomination ceremony. So, there's still plenty of time for them to change their minds again and again. So Tim goes up to the HOH to talk to the brothers. Jared was there too. And Tim was like, I've got a plan to put a stop to all the BS. So he's like, listen, I know you guys don't want to put up Ramsey. Why don't you put me up as a pawn with one of the big targets, meaning Maddie or Jared. And then if one of them comes off the block, just put up the other big target and I'll stay up there as the pawn. So Phil's like, that sounds great and all, but like, we already made a decision. So he's saying like they're going to put up Maddie and Ramsey. They really only want to go after Maddie, but he's like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it all the way. So he's going to have to put up Ramsey too. So the brothers are like, now that we're deciding that we're going to do this, we need you guys to reassure Ramsey that he's safe. We don't want to mess with him. Like, make sure he feels okay. So then, Maddie and Ramsey were talking. They know they're going up, and they're not happy about it. And Maddie is kind of, like, taking it out on Ramsey. She's like, maybe we shouldn't effing work together anymore. She is sick of taking the blame for everything, and, like, everyone just loves Ramsey. So she's like, I'm going to take the fault. Well, she said, I'm going to be effed this week, and you're still going to be friends with everyone, and that just sucks for me. Like, what's the deal with that? So Ramsey's like, just calm down. It's going to be fine. He suggests that they talk to the brothers one more time, and Maddie's like, I'm effing over it. I feel betrayed by Phil. I don't want to talk to them again. So then Ramsey and Maddie talk to Phil again, and they're pleading their case, and Phil is like, wow, you guys are making some really good points. He's so freaking wishy-washy. He keeps saying that he doesn't want to put up Ramsey, and that's so awkward for Maddie because it's basically like, we want you out, bitch, but we want Ramsey to stay. It's just not a good situation. So Ramsey and Maddie keep telling him, like, please, you need to talk to Tim. Talk to him without anyone else around because then he'll be able to tell you how he really feels. It's so weird because, like, Phil really needs the approval of Tim. Like, he's like, yeah, I'll go talk to Tim. So he does try to talk to Tim again, but he can't get him alone. So then he's talking to Nick, and he's like, what do I do? What do I do? So Nick is just like, no, we need to stick with our plan. See, Nicholas is always, like, the level-headed one, and Phil is like, Nicholas, you suck! Be the good guy that Mom and Dad raised, the nice guy. So Nick joins Phil to talk to Maddie and Ramsey again, and this time they're like, look, we're going to have to put you up. It's going to look really bad if we don't. We don't want to be guilty by association. Sorry, we're putting you up. So then there's like this meeting up in the HOH room. The brothers, Tim, Nikki, and Joel. Again, the brothers are like, we really don't want to put up Ramsey, blah, blah, blah. So Tim brings up being a pawn. He's like, I was talking about this earlier. The offer's still on the table. Like, I volunteer as tribute, whatever, Katniss. So he brings it up, and Phil, it seems like, is definitely considering it. He's like, yeah, it would be great if we could put you up next to Maddie, and then we'll still be cool with Ramsey. So then Kelsey comes into the HOH room, and she's getting wind of this. She's like, wait, whoa, 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 whoa. You're putting up Tim as a pawn? Like, what the F are you thinking? She's like, what if Ramsey wins the power of veto and saves Maddie? Then who's going to go up next to Tim? Like, that's so stupid. So she's like, Maddie and Ramsey both have to go up. So then Kelsey is talking to the brothers alone, and she's like, I just realized that Tim wants to be a pawn. He wants to go up on the block just to build up his big brother resume for later in the game. So she's like, y'all need to watch out for Tim. So then Kelsey is like, wouldn't it be so great if you guys were the ones to get rid of Maddie this week? She's still really pushing to make sure that Maddie is going to be up on the block. So she's like, remember how messed up Maddie was treating Nick like the first few weeks? And Nick is like, I don't give a F about that. I don't play emotionally. So then it was time for the nomination ceremony. And the brothers finally decided that they were going to put Maddie and Ramsey up on the block. So that's done. It's over with. All right, so then all the house guests were hanging out together except for Nikki, Maddie, and Ramsey. Nikki was asleep. She went to bed. She goes to bed early. And then Maddie and Ramsey were just like sulking off on their own. So the big group was having a great time. They're pulling out all these freaking weird-ass voices and stuff. You know what it's like. And then in one of the bedrooms, Maddie is super pissed. Number one, she's pissed that they're up on the block. Number two, she's pissed that everybody's all, like, having fun together while she's, like, in the gutter. All, like, meh. She's also upset because Kelsey apparently made this comment to her, like, it's not so funny now, is it? Whoa! Okay, crazy. So then Maddie was talking to Cass, and she's just like, I'm not even pissed at the brothers. I'm pissed at everyone else for lying to my face. But she made it a point to say, not you, Cass, because apparently Cass told the brothers, like, oh, I don't care, like, put up whoever. Which is not true, because Cass was definitely campaigning hardcore for Maddie to go up on the block. But I guess the brothers told her that Cass said she didn't care. Way to cover up for her. So then Maddie was like, I know I'm going home this week. I want to make this the funnest week of my life. She said, I know I'm going to jury. It's got to be the funnest week ever. All right, so after that, nothing really that exciting happened last night. But this morning, there was drama. They were all in the kitchen or whatever, and Jared was telling Cass, like, you need to start doing things for yourself, like cooking and cleaning. A lot of people have talked about this, how Cass is always, like, begging people to make her food, and she's kind of, like, milking other people for their meals. So he's getting tired of it. He speaks up to her. Cass is getting defensive. She's just like, well, no one else has told me they have a problem with it, so, like, where's this coming from? And Jared's like, well, other people are too nice to speak up. Oh, snap. So, like, there's a lot of tension today between Jared and Cassandra. They seem to get into tiffs, like, every few days, so it's totally normal. But anyway, they picked the players for the Power of Veto this morning. We've got Nick representing the brothers this week. We've got 2 nominees, Maddie and Ramsey. And then we have 3 extra players, Tim, Nikki, and Kelsey. So, Phil, Nick, and Jared were having a chat in the HOH room. And this is pretty interesting. They were comparing notes about Tim. And they're like, you know what? Tim is really freaking smart. And they realized that Tim has told both of them that he wants them to win. The brothers and Jared. So they're like, whoa, how is that possible? I don't understand. So then they were also saying that Tim has promised both of them his jury vote. Like, if they're in the final 2 and Tim is on the jury, he's like, I'll vote for you to win. So they're like, wait a second, how is that possible? So they're like, man, Tim's got some stuff going on. So they did talk about this again later with Kelsey, and Jared's like, man, I think Tim would put us up. He's definitely playing to win. Duh! Do you really think... Did these people really think that Tim was going to go to, like, the final 2 or final 3 with them or whatever and then just be like, oh, I give up. You guys win. I don't need this. Really? Come on now. So then, on an unrelated note, Cass decided to clear the air with Nikki. She apologized for the weirdness for the last few days. I guess she didn't like how Nikki talked to her a few nights ago with, like, the whole vodka gate when they didn't wake up Nikki, and then Nikki, like, stormed into the storage room when they were having that food fight. So Nikki kind of said that night, like, oh, I'm not mad at you because you just do whatever Tim does. So Cass did not like that. She's like, no, I think for myself. I have my own brain. So she apologized. Nikki accepted the apology. It was like, I just want to stay friends. Okay. So then, on a sad note, it seems like Ramsey got some bad news from home today. We don't know exactly what happened, if it was like a family emergency or what, but he was definitely very upset They keep blocking the feeds when people are talking about it, so I'm not really sure what's happening. But it sounds like he could be leaving the house tomorrow morning, and he mentioned that he's going to have to decide if he's coming back or not. So I'm not really sure what's happening here. I hope everything is okay, but it doesn't sound good, and I feel really bad. It's awful when stuff like that happens. But back to the game, they had the power veto competition today. The feeds have been down for a few hours now, so hopefully we'll have the results for that tomorrow. But, like, what's going to happen with Ramsey? This is crazy. So leave it in the comments what you guys think about what's going on right now. And until tomorrow, much love.